Katie with String Expert. Hope you're having an amazing day. I thought it would be so fun today to give you guys a live tutorial on how to play the violin with the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And you'll have to excuse me, my neighbors are having a little bit of some work done, and so it's a little noisy in here today, but I hope we can enjoy the live video anyway. So today I wanted to teach you about Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's one of my most popular videos, and I've gotten a lot of common questions about it and like problems that students in general are missing. And so I wanted to kind of go through some of those today while teaching you how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Okay, so let's start from the beginning and let's talk about one of the most important things that I think is when you learn to play the violin, and that is violin finger tapes. So violin finger tapes are these guys right here, and they go on the violin, and what they do is they tell you where to put your fingers when you play the violin. And I think that this is really, really important because as you learn to play the violin, it can take you a long time to figure it out, especially if you're not, like the best in terms of intonation. Some people like myself, I actually have to work really hard with intonation, and so having finger tapes on the violin really, to me, make all the difference. Now, some teachers, they choose not to teach with finger tapes at all. They think it's bad, it's not intrinsic of the learner, but I sort of feel like, you probably would not take a cross-country road trip without a map or Google Maps, and you wouldn't play football without some sort of yard line marker. And so what this is just your yard line marker or your map in order to tell you where to put your fingers in the violin. So finger numbers are really simple. We put our first finger on the first tape here, second finger on the second tape here, and third finger on the third tape there. It's just that simple. It's easy to use. It's not complicated at all. Now, the next thing that I think is really important is making sure that you have a shoulder rest, which is this guy right here. So a shoulder rest attaches to the violin, and it helps you in terms of giving you some extra height in between your violin and your shoulder. Properly hold the violin underneath your chin, just like this. So what I like is a good quality shoulder rest because it fits right on my shoulder and really gives me a lot of positioning in terms of learning how to play the violin. So how you put a shoulder tape on is you're going to take one foot and you're going to put it on one side of the violin, and then you're going to take the feet and put it on the other side, and you're just going to slide it just like this so it stays on the violin. Now, you're going to make a lot of adjustments until it fits perfectly underneath your chin and feels comfortable. Right now this feels really uncomfortable, and my neck is kind of going this way and it's a little bit strained. So I want my neck to be more like this way, so just nice and straight right in front. So I'm going to make an adjust feet over this way a little bit, and the feet over this way a little bit. And after a while, you sort of learn where your feet go on the violin, and it doesn't take very long at all. You can also put like stickers here to tell you where to put your feet on the violin so that your shoulder rest is always in the right place. Okay, so once you have your violin positioned right underneath your chin, it should be comfortable. You should be able to talk, hold the violin with your hands at all. A common misconception is when you play, you hold the violin with your left hand here. That's just simply not true. Your violin just sits right here in your hand, and you have a nice straight wrist here. And that's all you have to do. It's really, really simple. Okay, so once I get myself nice and squared away, nice and straight, I feel that my shoulder rest is in the right place. The next step is I'm going to work on, this is important. So I like to learn my music by first plucking the notes and just getting the notes right, and then I like to add the bow afterwards because it's complicated and it's difficult to do everything at once, and most people can't, and so this is a good way to do that. So I'm going to put the violin up underneath my chin. I'm going to have a nice straight wrist here, and I'm going to gently pluck or pull the string. So I'm going to pluck, and I'm going to open just like that, and as you can hear, it makes a great sound. And then as I grab my bow later, we'll do the bow, and it'll also make a good sound, but we're not struggling trying to get the left hand. Okay, so with the violin, we have 4 strings. We have the G string, we have the D string, we have the A string, and we have the E string. So the E string is the smallest string right here. Then we have the A string, which is the next, and it's a little bit larger. So we're gonna pluck the notes for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So we're gonna pluck A open, and then we're gonna pluck E open, E open. Take our first finger and we're gonna put it on this first finger tape right here. Now, our finger numbers are very simple and very easy to figure out. So our first finger goes on the first tape, our second finger goes on the second tape, and our third finger goes on the third tape, just like that. Our thumb goes in between our 2 finger tapes right here and here. Now this is a highly debated subject. Where do I put my thumb? How do I get my thumb in the right place? You should be able to tell if your thumb is in the right place for a couple of different reasons. I typically have my students put their thumb right here because it makes a nice round shape with your hand. Some people might have difficulty with this. For example, if you have a really long hand, the fingerboard, and some people may have really short fingers, and so it may need to go back here a little ways. I don't think that your thumb placement is super significant, other than the fact that it should be higher or lower based on where you're playing. What students sometimes get into trouble with is if they like to put their thumb back here, and this is an old school way of doing things, and I don't think that it's very good. And then you're constantly playing out of tune, and your fingers wear differently. They don't wear like your fingers should, because your fingers are made to go down and up, just like this. If they wear at an angle, then you're going to have a lot of problems. Nice and round. As you put your violin up underneath your chin, you're going to have a nice straight wrist here. The reason that you have a nice straight wrist here is because you're holding the violin with your chin. If you try and hold the violin with your wrist, which is what a lot of students like to do, then what happens is your fingers get out of alignment, they're not nice and round, they aren't going to be in tune, and then secondly, you're not holding the violin underneath your chin, so it's not going to create a good sound. So you're going to have a nice straight wrist, your thumb is going to be in between your 2 finger tapes, and your fingers should be nice and round, just like that. It's really, really simple. Okay, now let's learn Twinkle Twinkle. Alright, so we have our fingers nice and round. We're going to pluck A open, A open. Then we're going to pluck E open, E open. Then we're going to put our first finger on the first tape for E1, E1. And then E open. E open, E open. E1, E1. E open. Now, if you're learning to play the violin and you're looking for a good copy to play the violin, go to my website, stringexpert.com. I just made an entire online violin course. It's 101 videos on how to play the violin. They're set up in a way that you would expect if you're going to do private lessons. It's about a year on violin, and it's very cost effective and affordable for most people. And it has a free preview in it, and one of the previews is, of course, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and there's a free sheet music, so you can get all the music and learn how to play this piece. Alright, so we have A open, E open, E open, E open, E1, E1, E open. Now, the next step is we're going to put our third mistake that beginner violin students make is they just put the finger number down. But we want to make it easy for you to play. We want to make it fast and efficient. Finger on the third tape. So every time we have a third finger, we're going to put all 3 fingers down. Every time we have a second finger, we're going to put the second finger and the first finger down. The reason we do this is specifically for intonation, because it allows us to gauge where we are on the fingerboard by how wide our fingers are apart and how close they are relative to each other. The fingerboard, the way that we tell that we're playing the right note is by where our fingers are on the fingerboard relative to each other. So it's very, very important when you first start playing that you make sure that you put down all 3 fingers, 2 fingers if you're playing 2 fingers, and then of course 1 finger you only need to put down the 1. But overall, I think this is a really good way to stay in tune, and it is proper violin technique. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 fingers down on our beautiful violin finger tapes. So we're going to go A3, A3, and then we're going to do A2, A2, A1, A1, A open. Let's try that again. A3, A3, A2, A2. Ooh. Oh, I messed that up. Okay, A3, A3, A2, A2, A1, A1, A open. All right, having one of those blonde days. You know those days where you're just like, psh, gone. Not a good day to do Facebook or YouTube Live. All right, A3, A3, A2, A2, A1, A1, A open. Okay, let's try the entire Twinkle Twinkle Little Star piece, plucking. A open, A open. E open, E open. E1, E1. E open. 1, 2, 3 fingers down. A3, A3. A2, A2. A1, A1. A open. Next step is, I'm sure you want to learn how to hold the bow, and this is really important too. So let's put our violin down for a minute and let's grab the bow. All right, so our violin bow is simple. We have a stick here, and then we have horsehair here. And horsehair works exactly like regular human hair, so it stretches and flexes with temperature and humidity. The temperature doesn't affect your overall stick health. And then also, when you tighten it, we don't tighten it too much or too little. So here's what a violin bow should look like when you pull it out of the case. It's just loose like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to gently tighten the bow until it's about a pencil width in between the stick and the horsehair here. We don't want it too much or too little. And then you can kind of see we have a nice flex here as well. When we hold the violin bow, we're going to put our two fingers together to be too high or too low, just nice and round here like this. Our 2 fingers are stuck together, and then we're going to make a round C shape just like this. And then when we pull the bow, we're going to put our thumb right here on the frog, our 2 fingers over top, our pointer, and our pinky, just like that. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and grab our violin. I recommend getting the bow first before you grab your violin because it's going to make it much easier. And let's try Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So we're going to do A open, A open. E open, E open. E1, E1. E open. And then 1, 2, 3 fingers down on the A string for A3, A3. A2, A2. A1, E1. Let's try the entire Twinkle Twinkle Little Star song. So that's the entire Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the first part. Go to my website, stringexpert.com, and check out my new online course. And if you have any questions or comments about this, I'm always here and happy to help and would love to help